Coming up next on CTV News tonight, we're in Capitol Heights, where officials wage a never-ending battle against litter.
We're going to be spreading out across the state, across Prince George's County, and really trying to cover all corridors from top to bottom to make sure the litter stays clean.
Good evening, this is CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Well, residents say trash on area highways has been an eyesore for far too long. But after boatloads of complaints, state highway officials say this year the agency has more maintenance funds to work with. From bottles to plastic bags, area roadways have become congested with litter.
What we'll be doing is you'll see more crews, and we're dedicating resources to making sure the state roadways stay clean.
State highway crews recently kicked off their annual road cleanup program. Operation Clean Sweep was underway this morning with crews from the Upper Marlboro shop working along Central Avenue.
And they'll just be making their way down 214 corridor and picking up as much litter as they can. I can tell you that to date, we've picked up in 2 weeks. Operation Clean Sweep started late February, I believe. We picked up around 7,300 bags of trash already, so it's an ongoing effort, and it'll keep going into mowing season.
Delegate Dick Charles has been holding regular meetings with highway officials, trying to find out why some areas of Prince George's have less funding for litter cleanup, despite having more miles of roadways.
It was forcing MDOT to come back with a schedule for what does the cleanup look like, what does the trash pickup look like, what does the grass cutting look like, and also how are the dollars distributed amongst the different district offices and MDOT.
After SHA officials announced this year's budget for litter removal would increase by 30%, basically doubling cleanup efforts, Delegate Charles called it a huge win.
We've dedicated about $7 million annually to litter pickup alone. So what you'll be seeing is more crews, more frequency amplified, and more money, actually, more funding dedicated to this effort. I believe the maintenance budget for litter and mowing has increased by to $30 million for this effort.
And Derek Gunn says those funds should have a direct impact on Prince George's, a place he also calls home.
We're going to be spreading out across the state, across Prince George's County, and really trying to cover all corridors from top to bottom to make sure the litter stays clean.
And due to a mild winter, outside mowing will likely begin earlier than usual, so keep your eyes out for electronic signs announcing times and locations for crews out and about. Well, President Joe Biden is reassuring Americans that the nation's banking system is safe. This comes after the recent collapse of two banks. U.S. regulators shut down Silicon Valley Bank last Friday, and Signature Bank also closed on Sunday. Despite the bank failures, the Treasury Department and the FDIC announced that depositors will have access to all of their money beginning today. The Biden administration also says that no losses will be borne by taxpayers.
Every American should feel confident that their deposits will be there if and when they need them. Second, the management of these banks will be fired. If the bank is taken over by FDIC, the people running the bank should not work there anymore. Third, investors in the banks will not be protected. They knowingly took a risk, and when the risk didn't pay off, investors lose their money. That's how capitalism works.
And Biden is calling on Congress to strengthen bank rules. Well, an arrest warrant has been issued for Roy McGrath, the one-time chief of staff for former Governor Larry Hogan. McGrath was scheduled to appear in court in Baltimore this morning, but was a no-show. It prompted the judge to issue a warrant for his arrest for failing to appear. McGrath is set to go on trial this week for fraud and embezzlement charges. Advocacy groups are calling on Maryland lawmakers to end the burden of medical debt for low-income families. The group Our Revolution is hosting a rally in Annapolis tonight calling for an end to medical debt an expansion of affordable health insurance, and lower prescription drug costs. Organizer Hal Ginsberg says House Bill 333 will help Marylanders do reimbursements for out-of-pocket expenses already paid by the state.
The goal is to make life a little easier for our brothers and sisters across the state who may not be able to get health care any other way. And, you know, it's just shameful. It's just wrong that these hospitals went out and started collecting against people that we paid for their treatment. It's just wrong. And so those hospitals need to disgorge that money to the working people in our state.
And for more information on the rally, you can visit the site on your screen. Well, Governor Wes Moore stands by his nominee to lead Maryland State Police, even as some lawmakers question his choice. Moore recently nominated Roland Butler Jr. to lead the agency. If confirmed, he would be the first Black Maryland State Police Superintendent. But according to Maryland Matters, 2 Prince George's lawmakers and others aired concerns about Butler during a recent meeting of Senate Democrats. Senators Joanne Benson and C. Anthony Muse say Butler was unresponsive to complaints of agency racism and treatment of Black troopers when he was the chief of the Field Operations Bureau. And you are watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Coming up, we are in Landover for a Red Cross celebration of heroes. Stay with us.
The American Red Cross is recognizing some local heroes for using their training to save a life. The story coming up next.
Welcome back. Well, the American Red Cross is honoring some local heroes for their quick life-saving actions. Taylor Thomas is at the Sports and Learning Center with the story.
Patty, every year since 1911, the American Red Cross has held the American Red Cross Life-Saving Awards. And this year, they're recognizing 4 local heroes, 3 from the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Sports and Learning Complex, and 1 Prince George's County police officer for using their training to save a life. The Sports and Learning Complex is a community gathering place where members can enjoy indoor and outdoor activities from swimming to working out in the gym. That's where in August of 2022, Larry Harris, who was working out on a treadmill, suffered a medical emergency and was saved by 3 Park and Rec employees, 2 of which were present today.
When I got up there and I actually saw that he was unconscious, wasn't breathing, you know, it just hit me. It was like, okay, we got to think fast. We got to move quick.
While I never really used it before, other than, you know, minor cuts, bruises, things like that, having that knowledge and the years of continued training and experience really helped in that moment of need.
Also recognized was Police Officer Moon for his heroic actions that saved the life of a resident found unconscious in her apartment in October of 2022.
When they were leaving, one of the paramedics told me, "Hey, dude, you just saved their life." And the drive on my way home, just knowing that I made a difference, the first thing I did when I went home, I woke up my family, was like, "Hey, I just saved someone's life today. Isn't that cool?"
Both of the survivors are doing well. This is a very special award because since the 1980s, the American Red Cross has only given out a little over 2,000 of these American Red Cross life-saving awards, and over 1,101 lives have been saved because of their training. From Landover, I'm Taylor Thomas for CTV News.
And the Maryland Senate Finance Committee has watered down Governor Wes Moore's ambitious bill to increase the state's minimum wage to $15 an hour by October. Lawmakers decided to delay the increase until January of 2024 and eliminated annual increases linked to the Consumer Price Index. There's been no official reaction from the Moore administration. Well, we now know the names of the 2 Prince George's residents who died in a car crash in Anne Arundel County over the weekend. The 2 victims have been identified as Irene Onwukwe and Josephine Monnier, both from Glendale. Police responded to southbound Crane Highway at Maryland Route 32 early yesterday morning. That's where a tow truck rear-ended a Honda sedan carrying the 2 victims. The crash pushed the Honda off the roadway and into a tree. The tow truck driver was not seriously injured. Still to come on CTV News, Simon Buggs and your Monday sports page. Stay tuned.
Hey there, sports fans, it's Simon Buggs. And coming up soon, the Wizards, UMD men's lacrosse team, and DC Defenders all play this weekend. I'll be talking about the results of those matchups and how the Commanders retained a key defensive player. Stay right there.
You are loved. You are valued. You are resilient. You got this.
You are there for them. We are here for you. Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving.
The Wizards were in action last night against the Philadelphia 76ers, losing 112-93. They struggled from the field, shooting only 23% from 3 and 41% overall. Head coach Wes Unseld credits Philly's tough defense.
Well, they were blitzing the ball, blitzing Brad, forcing him to be a playmaker, give the ball up. The switching with KP. And I thought, at times we were, kind of got into a one-on-one battle instead of just finding that next action. And I think generally, the last handful of games, we've seen this type of defense. We've done a much better job.
This is now the Wizards' 3rd loss in a row, and they are currently the 12th seed in the East. Washington will have to rack up some wins as the playoffs are only a month away.
We just do what we do. We control what we can control, play our game. We can't be result-driven, in a way. You want the win. That's what matters the most. But when you're in kind of this little funk, you gotta figure out the process of it. Get something good out of it every single game. Learn something from it. Be better the next one.
The Wizards take the court next against the Detroit Pistons at home tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Now for some college sports. The UMD men's lacrosse team was also in action this weekend as they went up against the University of Albany. The Terps will end up winning their 3rd game out of the last 5, 16-9. The game will be close throughout the first 2 periods as the Terps led 7-5. But in the last 2 periods, the Terps will score 9 times to ensure victory. The Terps face the University of Virginia on Saturday. Moving on to the XFL, the DC Defenders took the field yesterday, beating the Vegas Vipers 32-18. The Defenders' rushing attack will play a big part in the win as they total 173 yards on the ground. The Defenders are now 4-0 and will face off against the St. Louis Battlehawks on Saturday. To wrap up sports, after having a Pro Bowl season and recording a career high in sacks, the Washington Commanders have signed defensive tackle Daron Payne to a contract extension. The deal is worth 4 years at $90 million. This deal makes Daron Payne the 2nd highest paid defensive tackle in the NFL. And that is your Monday sports page. Simon Buggs, CTV Sports.
Thanks, Simon. And now let's get a quick check on your 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, breezy with a low around 33. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and windy with a high near 44. Tomorrow night, temperatures will drop to a low of 32 degrees. And Wednesday, windy with a high of 50. Wednesday night, clear skies with a low around 30 degrees. And Thursday, mostly sunny, a high of 58 and falls to 43 at night. And that is CTV News for now. I'm Patricia Vallone. Have a great night.